Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
And I'm Aaron.
We're Never Bored Gaming, and we're talking to you guys about Or by Quick Simple Fun on Kickstarter right now.
Got a quick, simple, fun disclaimer here. Everything you see here is prototype.
Yeah, except for the box. This is exactly the way you're going to get your box when you get Or. It's going to have a piece of paper. It's going to be rubber band on top of another box, except the size might be different. It might be a little bit bigger. So this is exactly how you're going to get your copy. This is the full production box cover. It's going to look exactly like this.
Rubber band onto another box.
Rubber bands onto another box. Or might even be a little bigger.
Actually, I think this is the actual size that it's going to be. Nice and big, rubber bands, paper.
You should back Or to get this exact. This is what's going to get sent to you in the mail.
So yeah, what you get might not look exactly like what you see here, but the gameplay should match up. And if it's anything like that, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, unless they change too much. Like, if we're going to get rid of all the workers and the cards and get rid of the board game aspects, we're just going to give you a Devil Wears Prada DVD. Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep, hell yeah!
So Or is a worker placement game where you have a bunch of miners. They're not under 18 though, they're just miners. And you're sending them into mines to get you resources, which you will provide in contracts to other entities that want these contracts fulfilled, and get money and get victory points.
It's very reminiscent of Lords of Waterdeep or Champions of Midgard, if you played those. This is a lot shorter game. It's shorter in rounds in that it has the Stefan Feld type of feeling of you want to do everything, but you can't. You can't do everything you want to do because it's only 7 rounds. So depending on how analysis paralysis prone your players are, the game can go really quick.
At the beginning of the game, you start with 4 workers. You can unlock a 5th one. It's really expensive to do so, but it can pay off for you because having that extra worker, you can mine extra resources, which you can sell for more money. So to begin with, there's the cards at the top where you can go to each of the different mines. You place a worker either on the very top spot for free. A lot of the lower spots require a drill bit, so you need to go actually to the drill bit spot on the board, collect a drill bit, which will allow you to drill further down before you actually start. You spend that drill bit later, or so that's how you collect those resources. The further you go down to the mine, you also need a mine cage to go deeper and deeper. So there's a spot to go to get a mine cage, which will allow you to go to the level 2 depth, and then you can upgrade that to go to level 3 depths. And that's how the bulk of all of your gathering is done. There is one place you can go and actually buy it as well if you just have a lot of money and you want to just get it now.
Mm-hmm. But money is one of the biggest ways for you to get points. So money left over at the end of the game is points, but you complete contracts for points and you build buildings for points. And you can either spend resources or money to build those buildings, but a lot of the times you're going to find yourself spending money to build those resources, so to build those buildings. So money is a pretty big deal in here. What Aaron just said is like 90% of the game. It's really straightforward, but you're advancing on all these. Basically, you're sending out all your workers to advance on these tracks to get your resources. You can pay money to pull them back, but you kind of want to keep them there as long as you can because, you're kind of investing in that resource because you want to complete contracts with them. Mm-hmm. But then again, you're losing a worker to do that, right? You put that worker there. If that's a lot of spots, that worker is bye-bye for a couple of rounds. Mm-hmm. So you really have to think. It's surprising how strategic this game is because, again, Quick Simple Fun does a lot of really quick, simple, and fun games. I know, that joke is overused. But, they do games like Muse, which is like a party game. So keeping in that, my brain, when I went to sit down here, I was like, oh, it's in that line of a light party filler type of game. Mm-hmm. But it's really not. It's not it's not Feudum, by, because it's good.
And even the other game that I really think of when I think of them is Russian Bash. It's heavier than that, too, because that's even kind of partyish. It feels like Mario Kart, where it's just okay, I'm moving, I'm shooting rockets and things. There's a lot more of, okay, I'm going to place this guy here, and in X amount of turns, I'm going to get him back and be able to use him again.
I think we're doing a disservice in using the word heavy, or it's more strategic.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because like you're saying with Russian Bash, it felt like a party because it's just I drew these cards. Hey, this card lets me move really fast. Or hey, this card drops a bomb on you. You were just goofy. And here, this is like a real game,
And it's simple, and it's
fun.
fun.
And it's only 7 rounds. That would qualify as quick. So you see, the name of the company is also adjectives for the games.
So I like what they did in this game, besides just giving you one spot to go recruit one extra worker that's kind of expensive. Like, you're giving up 2 points to get a guy if you're the first person to buy, because it's $20. $20 is 2 points at the end of the game. And it gets slightly cheaper for everyone, just like a lot of other games. But they gave you the private mines where you can go essentially get another worker as well. You place a worker over here, you get one of him, and you pay $5 plus whatever the market value is of one of the mines you want to mine in. I'm like, okay, lead's at $4. Okay, 4 and 5, that's $9. I take this, I put it over here, I put the little private miner on there for me, and now he's working for me. So I've essentially got an extra worker, but not paid the full cost of this worker. But all he can do is this one mine, and he always starts at the top. So like, it's cool that you can get a lot more workers in a way.
It does seem like if you spam that spot a whole bunch at the beginning, you can build a pretty decent engine going for it. You're spending money to do maybe a lot. I mean, it's still less than the one time 20 if you're the first one to do it. It gets less the more people who do it, just like, lots of games do that, like Champions of Midgard does that. So you do still, this spot right here does still have that, everybody staring each other down, like, I'll do it if you do it. I mean, you can go ahead and do it, and then I'll do it. Even so, if you are the person who pays $20, okay, you're losing 2 points, but like you had brought up, if that extra worker comes over here on gold and gets you a bunch of gold, even if it just gets you 2 gold, and you can sell it at 12 each or 10 each, or
you're getting your money right back.
You're getting your money right back for them, and you just have. It's always good to have more workers in a game. You know?
Absolutely. So as you have these workers working and they're getting you all these resources, you're selling them off for your contracts, and once you've completed that final line on a contract, it triggers, you get victory points for it, which you'll count at the end of the game, and then you also get to build buildings, and it can range from 1 to 4 buildings, and that's one resource in here that's actually, it's not hard to come by, but it's like the hardest to come by. You have to either go to the permit office to get buildings. If you're the player that goes there, you can buy 1, 2, or 3 buildings, and then everybody else has the option to buy buildings as well for a higher cost. Or if you go to the advanced orders section, when you place there, you get the first player token, and you draw 1 building so that you have 1 extra, and then everybody can complete part of one of their orders, their next top line if they want to. So that'll help you trigger more buildings, and then you're building more and more. So like, you need buildings if you're completing orders, if you want to score more points. But they're not just points. The thing that makes the buildings worth it is that you're spending money to get points. So like, sometimes you're spending a little bit more than 2 points to get 2 points, but you also get a benefit of like getting, you're like, oh, I get a gold as well for finishing this one. By spending money to get points and then also get a benefit, you can get more out of your money than just holding on to it to the end of the game.
Right. And it really is those special abilities that the buildings are mostly special abilities. They're not mostly points, because the cost is almost at the same as points. You're spending really close to $10 for a lot of 1 points, really close to $20 for a lot of the 2 points. So you're not going to do well by just trading money for points. You do well by trading money for points and utilizing those special abilities really well.
Especially if you can get the one that once you build that building, you can draw another building card. Like, that one's really nice. Like, especially if you're like, struggling to get building cards, building a building that gives you another building card.
And actually, I once completed a contract where I could build multiple buildings, and I was like, well, the first one I'm going to build is this one that lets me draw a new one, because maybe that one's better than the second one I was going to build.
Yeah.
One other thing that I really like about this game that is kind of reminiscent of some other games is there are 3 different spots here where when you go there, you get to do an action, but then everybody else at the table gets to do like the same action, but a crappier version of it. Like they can buy more cards, but for more cost. Here they can buy or sell more resources, but it's only 1, and they have to pick the same one that I picked, type of thing. It reminds me a lot of the follow action in Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea or Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite aspects of those games, so I really like that they included it, but also they did tailor it back a bit, so it's just a few spots, so it's not like something you have to think about or worry about the whole game. And in those other games, it was something that was always a thing that somebody could do. So every single time I went to go to make a turn, I was like, I don't know if I do this, because then he'll follow that, and that's not good. But here it's just like, if I'm choosing to come to these spots, that's an extra thing I have to think about.
This game was made to tailor down to 2 players really well. Whenever you play as 2 players, you're going to take out the copper, and like half of the contracts that require copper are taken out, and a lot of the buildings are taken out.
Well, everything that requires copper is taken out.
Yeah.
But there's a 2 on all of the building cards and contract cards, and you just play with those cards. So you have like your own special 2-player deck at that point.
Yeah, so by taking out that spot and not putting in the copycat spots, or whatever they're really called, every rule book that we've read is a different name, but I call them copycat spots. Like you can go there and copy...
Overtime.
Yeah, overtime. You can go there and copy any other spot that already has a worker there. So you take that out in a 2-player game, so you don't have that. There's less contracts to buy, and it really does... It's still tight enough where, like, I feel like I'm going to go over here and take this action, and now, like, I've just limited him enough that, like, he's going to limit me, and it just felt tight. And even, like, we'd get on these tracks, and, like, he's mining a silver, I'm mining a silver. Like, when we play more, higher player counts, you have, like, a guy in every spot. Like, okay, he's getting coal, he's getting the coal, he's getting the coal, and we're all shifting down. Like, it's kind of a conga line of getting coal.
So if you're looking for a light, quick worker placement game with still a lot of strategy, where you still get that punch of the Lords of Waterdeep, Champions of Midgard type of stuff, but with a smaller footprint and in a smaller time frame, Neverboard Gaming highly recommends that you back or now.
Or later.
Or later.
If you're on Kickstarter, you know what to do. Scroll back up to the top of this page and click that back link. If you're on
Facebook.
If you're on Facebook, how are you watching this video?
If you're on Facebook, friend me. My name's Aaron.
If you're on YouTube, scroll down. We'll have a link to the Kickstarter page down there. And also, while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.
It's a good exit line, yo. Well, they use better ingredients, and I just think it yields better pizza.